Hey folks, it's Kenny here with the Currahee History Channel. Thanks for tuning in today. Please like and subscribe if you hadn't already. Now today at Currahee, we're going to be talking about the Easy Company stables. So let's get into it. Now the stables were originally built in 1922 by a family that was pretty prevalent in horse racing. And you know, with the war things kicking off, the Germans coming in, they were really well known for, you know, looting, seizing people's goods, animals included. So a lot of these horses that would have been left behind would have, you know, gone for carrying ammunition, pulling artillery. They would have been put into service and worked. So the families really didn't want that to happen, so they got rid of their horses. So fast forward a little ways, when Easy Company showed up to Alborn, there really wasn't any room for them, or any kind of a big hotel, so to say, for them to set up a headquarters. So they had multiple of these six-stall horse barns, if you will, available. So the family just said, hey, why don't you come and you know, just stay in the barns? You're welcome to do so. So that's exactly what happened. These guys made their headquarters here in these stables, and they were here for about 3 months doing training prior to the D-Day operation. So the only other known time that these guys came back and stayed in the stables would have been after Operation Market Garden. They actually got a little bit of rest off the front lines because of all the stuff that they had been doing and all the intense fighting that they had been participating in. So they actually stayed in it twice. Here are some pictures of, you know, the initial teardown and the deconstruction, if you will. And we had the Air Force actually fly the barn back over here, and the portion of the museum that's actually housing the barn was constructed, excuse me, just to house the barn, to get it out of the weather, because like I say, this thing is over 100 years old, originally built in 1922. These are a few items or whatnot that was kind of found scattered about. We actually found some letters from Bull Randleman's mother, I believe it was, that was actually in the wall panels, and we have those on display. I'll show you once we get to the end over here. Two of our rats here from the previous video. This is Abel and Easy. These were found actually in the wall panels when they took the barn apart, and so it was like, no, we're not discarding those, we're bringing them with us. So these made their way from England. A little bit of information. Hopefully you guys can see that if you want to pause to be able to read that about information on the stables. Now, one cool thing that we have done with the stables, Dick Winters, one of my personal pictures there. One of the cool things that we've done with the stables is there was 4 divisions that trained here at Camp Toccoa. You had the 506, of course, Band of Brothers, 501st, made famous by Saving Private Ryan, the 511 and 517. So as you come here to the museum, you get to walk through the different stable rooms, and it represents one of each division that trained here. So that's pretty neat. Some people ask, why do we got, you know, of course, why do we have the Japanese flags, the 511 that trained at Toccoa? They fought against the Japanese. For you guys that have watched Band of Brothers, you'll remember there towards the end where they were in Birch's Garden, where they were doing their war training and tactical drills, because there was talks of Easy Company being sent overseas to help against the Japanese, because that war was still going on, and possibly Dick Winters would have battalion commander. So they were talking about making him the battalion commander. So one neat thing right here, this is the only name that we actually found, and I'll try to zoom in for you guys here. This is Private Petty. Try to get my camera to be still. There we go. He etched his name in the door frame here. This is the stall that he stayed in. This is the only name that we found actually on any of the rest of the walls, anything like that. No trench art or anything, so to say, other than the two rats and the letters of Bull Randleman. This here is the 501st stall. This one is special to me because I am a reenactor with the 501st, the 501st group to be exact. And we recreate the exact unit and division that my great uncle Jimmy was in when he was here at Camp Toccoa. Couple of unit photos. Again, my Uncle Jimmy is right here in this one for the 501st Third Eye Company. Now in this display case here, this is H Company of the 501st. What is significant about this one is we see the gentleman with the flag right here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people over. He's got kind of a gray looking belt. I'll try to zoom in there. This guy right here, excuse my fat finger. This is the real life Saving Private Ryan. This is Fritz Nyland. He did have brothers that were in the war, 2 of which died on D-Day. They are buried side by side in the Normandy Cemetery. And hopefully I'll be able to find those whenever I go to Normandy this October. That is a goal of mine. Come on around. Just to kind of let you see the tops of the barn. And it did have a gutter system on it to help, you know, catch and divert the water away. Smokestacks coming out the top. There were wood heaters in each stall. We did do a mock makeup of bunk beds and got a wood heater just to kind of represent what it might have looked like inside the stall. We'll see that at the very end. Guys, we have a lot of stuff to see at the museum. I really encourage you to come out and see it all, because, you know, these were donated by family members of the men that served and trained here. A lot of private collections, including myself. I've donated a lot of my pictures and other items, just so that we can, you know, share this with you and, you know, this is the 517 stall. Some information, regimental photos on that as well. Some pretty, I'm sorry for the shadowing. Some really cool foot lockers. It's actually got a 506 patch in it. Yeah, we have so much lighting at different angles throughout with display cases and whatnot, so forgive me if there's a little bit of glare and shadowing every once in a while. I'm trying to divert from that. 506 stall, regimental flag. I've been fortunate enough to have met some of the original Band of Brothers through my time of volunteering. And there again, guys, that goes back to what I've said earlier. If you have places like this around home, or if there's something that you're interested in, you know, volunteer, because you really don't know where that's going to lead you and who it's going to lead you to and the opportunities that you may have. And, you know, just by volunteering actually allowed me to meet these guys. So that was pretty awesome. Now, what's cool about this is an actual official roster of the men that was checked off to jump on Holland. So these are all guys from Easy Company that would have participated on the day of the market garden. We'll try to zoom in a little bit so you can see some of the names. Of course, you can see Compton, Garnier, Grant, Malarkey, Martin, Randleman, Lutz, Dukeman. Of course, he was killed in the Crossroads. Shifty Powers there at the top. Joe Toy, Forrest Guth, Walter Hendricks, Earl McClung, Pincala, Bercanti. So it's pretty cool to be able to have this in our collection to be able to show off. And that is here inside the stables. And again, I'm sorry for my camera kind of going in and out because of the lighting. It's trying to self-adjust to be able to focus in well enough for you guys to be able to see this. Some shadow boxes. We actually have all of Easy Company's shadow boxes here at the museum, which is really nice. All the awards and medals. Ed Shames. I got to meet him. Here we have a paratrooper model carbine, M1 carbine that's actually signed by some of the original guys. Okay, what's cool about this is when Easy Company actually did a full battalion march from Toccoa, and you can see here how they were in mostly full gear. Sometimes some of them even had weapons with them. They field marched from Toccoa all the way to Atlanta to get on the buses to go start their jump training down at Fort Benning. So they're actually in the Guinness Book of World Records. You can see right here, World Record March 1942. It actually happened around December the 3rd. Toccoa to Atlanta, 118 miles in 75 hours. That's pretty crazy, guys. Ironically enough, where they were marching on that day, they came right through where my grandparents' house is to this day on a family road of mine on Bill Wilson Road. My grandfather was in the 4th grade and just got picked up by the school bus. And he remembers pulling off in the church parking lot and waving at the guys as they marched by. So as we come around, this is our last stall here. We're coming up, you can see the letters. And this is the shadow box of Bull Randleman. These are letters and correspondence to Bull Randleman from his mother that were found in the wall panels when they deconstructed it. And so we had those framed up and put on display because it's very important to share that with you guys. It's a pretty awesome find. Now this is just kind of a mock makeup of what it might have looked like inside. Of course, it was not concrete floor. It was dirt and probably hay and some rock, that sort of thing, because this was a horse barn. So they would have had the little wood space heater with the cooktop stove on it, and then the piping would have went straight out, and some of it went out the back, and then in some of them they went directly through the top but most of them went out the back side. And you know, there possibly could have been room coming this way with another unit of bunk beds, and there's enough headspace. They probably could have stacked, you know, one more across the top. But this wasn't the only barn on site. There were a few other stables, but this was the only one that we could get over here because the other ones were just in such disarray. They were falling apart, and this one was in, you know, well enough condition that we could get it back over here and put into the new home, which is now the museum. Around the back side right here, it's upside down on the board, but these are the names of the Durham family from England that came over and reassembled it for us. I apologize. There's signatures and names throughout. There's plexiglass right here, so I'm sorry for the glare, but maybe we can get it from the side right here for you guys. But that family is still in business, 2005, as you can see here. So these were carpenters and builders in the village town of Alborn, and you can still see where, you know, they labeled them and the different boards and stuff like that. So, you know, they had a reference to go by whenever they came over here to reassemble the barn. They knew, you know, piece by piece where everything needed to go. So that in itself is quite an accomplishment, and we're very, very proud to have the barn here on site in Toccoa. Okay, folks, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I say, please like and subscribe if you like this sort of content, and share it with your friends and family. And don't forget to check out the Currahee Military Museum website if you'd like to donate. We encourage that. And also we have merchandise that you can buy and have that sent straight to your home. So thank you so much for tuning in, and hope to see you soon, and see you for the next one.